have a chance. Richarlison. Cuts it back. Oh, what a goal! First up! It's just the 5th minute.
Still Lewandowski. Still Doski. Finds Dembele, and Dembele scores an equaliser. What a pass from Lewandowski. He has been the best player. He has actually got 2 assists. One of Gavi's goal and now Dembele's goal.
And City wins! City won the match. Manchester City won the match.
Alright guys, we're here to start the first match of this match week, and it's going to be Frankfurt taking on AS Monaco. Alright guys, we're here at the Klassiker clash, which is next, and it's Borussia Dortmund taking on Bayern Munich in what will be a feisty rivalry. Will Dortmund bounce back from their 2 draws, or will Bayern Munich show their old rivals who's boss? Find that out in the comments. Alright, next clash is going to be the final game of match week 3, the match of the day 1, and it's Juventus taking on Real Madrid. 2 top teams from the 90s go against each other in this wonderful stadium in Turin. Who's going to win this match? Will it be Juventus or Real Madrid? Good day everybody, and welcome to Brisbane05Blaster Champions League, where champions rise. In the previous episode, we had an all-German clash where Bayern Munich managed to go past Eintracht Frankfurt, despite Eintracht Frankfurt nearly pulling up a miracle here by being 3 goals down, almost having a miraculous comeback. But then of course Bayern Munich ended it all. Then Real Madrid, of course, doing Real Madrid stuff, beating AC Milan 2-0. And of course Barcelona completely demolishing Manchester United, beating them 6-1 thanks to, of course, a Marcus Rashford masterclass. Well, in today's match of the day, of course, we have the usual 3 match of the days, where of course Eintracht Frankfurt will be taking on Monaco at the Deutsche Bank Park. Then we have an all-German clash, but this time the all-German classical clash, which is also known as the Klassiker, where Borussia Dortmund take on Bayern Munich. And then we have our last match of the day, which is of course Juventus taking on Real Madrid, and that's of course in Turin. So first, let's discuss Eintracht Frankfurt and AS Monaco. So both these sides had similar results. We'll start with Frankfurt, where of course Frankfurt got a huge win over Norwich City at the Deutsche Bank Park in match day 1, beating them 4-1. But then of course, as I mentioned earlier, they had a stutter to Bayern Munich despite nearly pulling a miraculous comeback, but it wasn't enough. Bayern Munich got the job done. But yeah, Eintracht Frankfurt do have quality players. They have Mario Götze, they have Jonathan Burkhardt, and they also have Kevin Trapp, who has been Frankfurt's best keeper, won them the Europa League. So this could be something that Frankfurt really need to hope right now, because if they really have to perform with the Europe's elite, they have to do well. Whereas AS Monaco, on the other hand, they also had the same result, like having an upset over Juventus in Turin, beating them 1-0, thanks to Paul Pogba scoring a dagger against his old club, where he made a name for himself. And then they actually lost to Inter Milan 3-2 in an all... It was literally a game of the season, where of course both these sides literally were... It was nothing to be separated. But then of course AS Monaco scored the first goal, Inter Milan scored 2 goals, and then AS Monaco equalized. And then of course Nicolo Barella scored the dagger on AS Monaco, and it was bad for them because they really deserved it. They played their whole spirit. They literally played for the team and for the badge, but it just wasn't enough. But anyway, both these sides are up against each other, and they will go unchanged for match week 3. Frankfurt will go unchanged and AS Monaco will go unchanged, because I'm pretty sure both these sides are level in terms on paper, but we're just going to see who's going to win the game. But Frankfurt, they really have to bring Oscar Højlund, because he hasn't been influential. I mean, he has been an influential player, but the only reason why they lost is because Oscar Højlund wasn't brought in that Bayern game. And imagine if he was there, it could have been something that Frankfurt would have actually got. Like, they could have actually done the miraculous comeback, but I digress on that point of view. But anyway, guys, who's going to win? Will it be the Eagles or AS Monaco? Anyway, guys, please make sure to like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get to Frankfurt to see Eintracht Frankfurt and AS Monaco. Alright guys, we're here at the Deutsche Bank Park to see Eintracht Frankfurt take on AS Monaco. And it's going to be a classic here, because both these sides have been influential. They've had the perfect start, but then had some speed bump in match week 2. Of course, Eintracht Frankfurt had a loss to Bayern Munich away from home at the Allianz Stadium. Of course, thanks to Serge Gnabry, despite Frankfurt scoring 2 goals in a short span of maybe 3 minutes or so. But then Serge Gnabry scored the dagger, and then AS Monaco's game was basically more brutal, because despite actually equalizing thanks to Takumi Minamino, Nicolo Barella scored the match-winning goal for Inter Milan, and things went a bit spiral for AS Monaco. But can this be a bounce back for either of these sides? We're going to see and find out. Alright guys, let's take a look at Eintracht Frankfurt's starting lineup here. So they're going with a 3-4-2-1 formation, as you can see right here, with of course Kevin Trapp being the man in goal, with Mandy Collins, Koch, Thiet, Christensen, Skiri, Larsen, Brown, Bahoya, Goetze and Bokart, Jonathan Bokart, the main man of Eintracht Frankfurt here. And now let's take a look at AS Monaco's starting lineup. They're going with a 4-4-2, classic 4-4-2 formation, with Philip Kahn being in goal, Wilfred Singo, Eric Dyer, Kirera, Oliveira, Silva, Pogba, Golovin, Zakaria, Akilauche, Imbolo and Biarritz. Alright, AS Monaco taking on Eintracht Frankfurt away from home, and it's live. Alright, looks like Frankfurt is going to be the one to take the possession. The home side impending of actually trying to take possession here. And here's Bahoya. Bahoya makes a wonderful pass to Collins. Collins to Skiri. Skiri to Goetze. Goetze to Christensen. Back to Goetze. Still Christensen. Christensen to Bahoya. Bahoya to Christensen. Then back to Bahoya. Still Bahoya. What a skill move from Bahoya. Still Bahoya, by the way. However, what a tackle here from AS Monaco. Here's Kehrer. Kehrer to Chao Enrique. Enrique to the Russian man, Alexander Golovin. Back to Chao Enrique. Then to Pogba. Pogba to Enrique. Enrique to Golovin. Golovin to Embolo. Embolo. Still Breel Embolo, the young Swiss man. What can he do? He finds Zakaria. Still Zakaria. Zakaria tries to make a pass, but of course a wonderful interception here. As Larsen to Bokart. Bokart makes a wonderful pass here to Bahoya. Still Bahoya. Bahoya to Brown. Brown to Larsen. A bit of a cross here, and somehow Bahoya gets it, but what a play from AS Monaco to get this one away. And now here's Brown. Koch. And as you can see, Jonathan Bokart is a player to watch. He scored 3 goals in the last 2 games, but can he be influential in this game? Just got to see and find out here. Because both these sides have been edgy in terms of possession here, so it's going to be basically a tricky one. But right now, Pogba has it. He finds Alexander Golovin with a wonderful cross. Still Golovin. Still Golovin. Makes a pass to Pogba. Pogba to Zakaria. Then back to Pogba. Then back to Zakaria. Zakaria to Kehrer. Kehrer to Zakaria. Zakaria. Still Zakaria. Zakaria makes a wonderful pass here, but somehow Frankfurt get this one away. Is it going to be with Eintracht Frankfurt? It is, but it's on their defensive line. What can they do? Here's Bahoya. Still Bahoya. Bahoya to Larsen. Here's Larsen. Larsen makes a wonderful pass to Bokart, but however, Kahn makes a wonderful save because he knew that it was going to be dangerous here for AS Monaco. And especially Jonathan Bokart being in form. Now here's Embolo. Embolo to Biarritz. Still Biarritz. Mika Biarritz. Biarritz finds Golovin. But somehow Frankfurt wins the ball. And now is still with Frankfurt. However, Monaco gets this one. It's Singo. Back to Zakaria. We're already done with the first quarter of this game. And still nothing yet to be... No one has scored this in the first half, but can this change? Here's Zakaria, the captain, finds Pogba. Pogba to Kehrer. Kehrer to Chao Enrique, then to Golovin. Golovin to Pogba. Pogba to Zakaria, back to Pogba. A bit of slick piece of tiki-taka here from AS Monaco, but can they use it? Here's Zakaria. Zakaria to Akiliauche. Akiliauche to Golovin. Still Golovin. Golovin to Embolo. Embolo to Bierit. Bierit shoots and he scores the opening goal for AS Monaco. What a stunning display from Mika Bierit. And the coach is happy about this because this has given AS Monaco the lead in Frankfurt. Kevin Trapp's fuming because he thought he could save this one. What a pass here from Embolo and what a finish from Mika Bierit. Remember the name, Mika Bierit. It was too good. It was a powerful one. Kevin Trapp tried to leap for a save. He tried to go for a save. But it wasn't enough. As Eintracht Frankfurt trail to AS Monaco in Frankfurt. Thanks to Mika Bierit scoring the opening goal for AS Monaco. But we all know that Eintracht Frankfurt can still have the mentality to come back. Here's Larson. Still Larson. Larson to Brown. Brown to Larson. Larson to Skiri. Skiri to Larson. Back to Skiri. Still Skiri. Skiri to Larson. Back to Skiri. A bit of skill move here from Skiri. He finds Burkhardt. Burkhardt shoots, but what a save here from Korn. He was this close to actually be on the score sheet if it wasn't for Philipp Korn. And now Eintracht Frankfurt has a corner kick. Mario Götze, bit of experience in the Bundesliga. But can he do something here? However, Götze is thinking of going for a short corner. He finds Brown. Brown to Koch. He has to go all the way to Koch. He finds Götze. Götze makes a wonderful shot. An acrobatic one, but Korn makes a simple save. But it's still with Frankfurt somehow. Thought it was a handball for a second. But it is what it is. However, yes, Monaco did get the ball. Now here's Zakaria. Zakaria to Pogba. Pogba to Embolo, who's actually through. Breel Embolo. Embolo makes a wonderful pass here to Bierit. Bierit to Golovin. Here's Zakaria. Zakaria makes a wonderful shot, but just hit the side netting, and it's going to be a goal kick. But it wasn't a bad effort here from the captain, because that could have gone in. But just the curling effort was just too much. And it is going to be a goal kick here for Eintracht Frankfurt, and they have to think quick. 3 minutes to go before halftime whistle is blown. Now here's Thiet. Thiet to Koch. Still Koch. Koch makes a wonderful cross here to Collins. Still Collins. Collins to Götze. Götze to Skiri. Skiri to Jonathan Burkhardt, who's through. He shoots. But what a save here from Philipp Korn yet again. Another kill-edged opportunity for Frankfurt to equalize this game. But what a save here from Philipp Korn. And it's going to be a corner kick here for Eintracht Frankfurt, for the Eagles. But what can Götze do? Because he's basically the best corner kick taker. Is he going to go long or short? He's going to go long. Because I don't see anyone coming near him. But it was a tame effort. But still with Frankfurt, can they still have one more time to attack? It's Burkhardt. He shoots. But it was so close. But halftime whistle blows as AS Monaco have a slim lead over Eintracht Frankfurt. Thanks to Mika Bierit scoring the opening goal. But of course, thanks to a wonderful pass from Breel Embolo. With AS Monaco opening the score sheet thanks to Bierit. It's halftime. It's Eintracht Frankfurt 0. AS Monaco 1. Alright guys, looks like the second half has already commenced with AS Monaco having an early lead, and now they're going to be the ones to kick off in the second half. And are they thinking of actually killing the game? Because they're literally the dark horses of Europe. But can they actually win this? Can they have a statement here despite having a shocking loss? Well, not a shocking loss, but a shocking win over Juventus and then a heartbreaking loss to Inter. Can they have a perfect start? However, Frankfurt are on the attack. And what a save here from Philipp Korn. Another opportunity squandered here for Eintracht Frankfurt. From Eintracht Frankfurt. And it's going to be a corner kick yet again for the Eagles. But Korn has made so many saves. Let's not forget to give credit to the keeper here. But however, it's a corner kick here for Eintracht Frankfurt. Goetze is going to be going short because I see a player coming in. It's Brown to take it. He finds Goetze. Goetze finds Coach. Coach to Skiri. Actually, Theet. Then to Skiri. Still Skiri. But what a tackle here from Chao Enrique. And now it's Con. Con goes for a very big kick here. But looks like Frankfurt's next fixture is against Valencia. But they have to think of something if they have to get back in this game. Now is Eric Dyer. Eric Dyer makes a wonderful pass to Berit. Berit makes a wonderful pass to Singo. Wilfred Singo with it. Singo tries to go for a cross. But Brown makes an easy interception and he finds Bahoya. Still Bahoya. Who makes an agonizing run in the wing. Finds Lawson. Lawson to Skiri. What a tackle here from one of the defenders of AS Monaco. And now it's Bril Mbolo. Mbolo to Golovin. Golovin to Pogba. Pogba makes a wonderful cross to Chao Enrique. Chao Enrique tries to go for a cross. But luckily Frankfurt gets this one. But it's still with Monaco here. It's Chao Enrique. Back to Pogba. Still Pogba. Golovin with it. Zakaria. Zakaria tried to go for a pass, but luckily Frankfurt managed to intercept this one. And looks like Monaco's next game is against Borussia Dortmund, and it's going to be a feisty game. Could be a player to watch here, a game of the season maybe. We'll see how it goes. But right now, let's focus on this one. Here's Eric Dyer. Dyer to Akilauche. Akilauche to Pogba. Back to Akilauche. Akilauche makes a wonderful cross here, but somehow just being defected. But still with Monaco. But luckily Frankfurt get this one. Here's Murray Goetze. Goetze to Burkhardt. Still Jonathan Burkhardt. Burkhardt makes a wonderful through ball pass to Goetze. And Frankfurt are on the attack. Goetze with a wonderful pass to Burkhardt. Burkhardt shoots, but he hits the crossbar. Unlucky one here from Frankfurt. That could have been the equalizing goal. Surely deserved. But just a bit unlucky in the finishing here. And AS Monaco, they are so lucky here, man. This could have been an equalizing goal if it wasn't for the crossbar. Alright. AS Monaco are on the attack, and that could have been a second goal here. That was Bril Mbolo, by the way. He tried to go for a volley, but just couldn't time it at the right time. And looks like it's going to be a substitution here for Eintracht Frankfurt. Bahoya is going to be coming off for Uzon. But yeah, Frankfurt get the goal kick. But what a kill-edged opportunity yet again. That one was the closest because it hit the crossbar. But now Akilauche to Pogba. Pogba to Kera. Kera makes a pass to Golovin. They've actually had more passing accuracy than, of course, Frankfurt. But this is a tight game here. Can Frankfurt somehow score 2 goals in the matter of basically in the remainder of this game? We just don't know. Burkhardt is having a shocker. Having kill-edged opportunity to equalize this game, but just so unlucky with the finishing here. Lawson. Still Lawson. Lawson makes a wonderful pass to Skiri. Skiri shoots, and he somehow gives Frankfurt some hope. What a goal here from Skiri. Elias Skiri scores the equalizing goal here for the Eagles. And what a time to score as he gives some hope to the home crowd. The fans are jubilant because this has given some hope to Frankfurt. What a finish here from Elias Skiri. But first of all, what a pass from Lawson and what a finish from Skiri, man. Con tried to make a save. He was outstanding as a goalkeeper, but it was too much. And looks like he's going to be subbed off for Oscar Højlund, who has been somewhat of an impact player here for Eintracht Frankfurt. Can he do something here? Maybe pull off something. Maybe a miracle here. Pull off a miracle because he has been an impact player for Frankfurt. In that Norwich City game, got an assist and a goal. Can he do it this time? But right now, with 7 minutes to go, the game is all tied up. And Oscar Højlund was actually the impact player here. Can he be the impact player in this game? But right now, Monaco are on the attack. Frankfurt have to worry about that one first. Here's Mbolo. Mbolo to Zakaria. Back to Mbolo. Mbolo to Berit. Berit shoots. What a save from Kevin Trapp, man. This man is outstanding. Despite conceding the goal, he has been making non-stop saves. However, it's going to be substitution here for Frankfurt. Götze comes off for North. What a save here from Kevin Trapp. This has given Frankfurt some hope. The corner kick here comes for AS Monaco. Goes for a long one. But Frankfurt get this one away. But still in Monaco, Zakaria has it. But he messed up with the pass as Larsen get this one. Alright. Could this be the moment for the home crowd? Yes, Oscar Højlund. He makes a pass to Christensen. I was expecting him to get into the midfield. But if they think what they're doing, we'll see. Right now, 3 minutes of added time here for the game. Burkhardt makes a wonderful pass to Højlund. Højlund shoots and he scores. Are you seeing this? Are you seeing this, man? Oscar Højlund. I told you he's the impact player for Frankfurt, and he does that. Scoring an important goal for Eintracht Frankfurt. Yet again, another heartbreaking goal for AS Monaco to concede. First to Inter Milan, and now to Eintracht Frankfurt. What a pass from Burkhardt, and what a finish for Oscar Højlund. This man, give him a statue, man, because he's been so influential as a super sub. What a goal here for Oscar Højlund. Scores the match-winning goal for Eintracht Frankfurt, potentially. Unless if AS Monaco think of something or maybe change the script out of nowhere. But what a finish here from Oscar Højlund as he's given Frankfurt an almighty lead over AS Monaco. And it's full time with Eintracht Frankfurt getting a resulting win over AS Monaco. And who else but their saviour Oscar Højlund to make a statement. Being an impact player, coming on for Elias Skiri, the goal scorer, and scoring the match-winning goal thanks to a pass from Burkhardt, and of course the finish from Oscar Højlund. I literally called it that he is the impact player for Eintracht Frankfurt. Full time is Eintracht Frankfurt 2, AS Monaco 1. Wow, what a game. Both these sides literally had to differentiate themselves in the dying embers, and the winner was of course Eintracht Frankfurt, where they of course scored the dagger in the 90th minute. Well, it didn't actually start well for Eintracht Frankfurt for starters, because of course they conceded the early goal thanks to of course Berit, but then Skiri scored the equalizing goal, and guess who came in? Who scored the winner? It was Oscar Højlund. The younger brother of Rasmus Højlund scored the winner. As I did initially tell you, he is an influential player. The only thing that Frankfurt did lost in the previous match week was not bringing on Oscar Højlund. And if they would have brought him on, it could have been something that Frankfurt would have got, like maybe a win or a draw. But at least they managed to get a win thanks to Oscar Højlund's dramatic goal in the 90th minute. And of course the fans, the team, the coach, the entire board would be happy for this. I'm pretty sure Oscar Højlund would probably be influential as a starter, but we just don't know and see how things pan out. But anyway, Eintracht Frankfurt, they got the job done. Commiserations for AS Monaco. They almost actually got the 3 points if it wasn't for the 2 goals that they've conceded. But it is what it is. AS Monaco have to prepare for themselves in the next match week. That's all here. But anyway, guys, the next match day is going to be the Klassiker, and it's going to be Borussia Dortmund taking on Bayern Munich. Now this clash looks very interesting to me, because this matchup is not just any matchup. It is an all-German classical clash, aka the Klassiker, where Borussia Dortmund take on Bayern Munich, where it's going to be taking place at Signal Iduna Park. We're going to first talk about Bayern Munich. Yes, I know it's played away from home for them, but they are the favourites, so let's talk about Bayern Munich first. So Bayern Munich had a decent start where they of course lost to Inter Milan in the opening match week, but then they bounced back in the second match week where they won against Frankfurt in an all-German clash, beating them 4-2. Of course, trying to make up for that 2-0 loss against Inter, they did bounce back. So yeah, I mean, with the likes of Musiala, Harry Kane, Diaz, Olise, it was kind of cakewalk for Bayern Munich. Whereas for Borussia Dortmund, on the other hand, they had two underwhelming results, which they should have won on paper. Barcelona, they got a draw, but it was kind of understandable because Barcelona is a very good team. But the only surprising is that they actually drew to Deportivo La Coruna. And yes, it was actually played away from home, but they should have actually won this on paper. And I don't know how they actually fumbled this opportunity to get the first 3 points. And I mean, despite Guirassy scoring the equalizing goal, they were actually trailing from right to centre. But Borussia Dortmund, in my point of view, they should have actually won this game. But I digress on my point of view. So we're actually going to be taking a look at Borussia Dortmund. Bayern Munich are going to be going unchanged, but Dortmund are going to be making 2 substitutions here. They're actually going to be bringing on Cole Campbell for Ryerson and Nico Schlotterbeck for Niklas Sula. First of all, they trust Cole Campbell because Borussia Dortmund do have the habit of trusting youngsters. They always start them in crucial matchups. And Schlotterbeck does have more stats than Niklas Sula, so it kind of makes sense to actually bring him on. So that's the substitution both these sides will be making, well, mostly for Borussia Dortmund. And yeah, looks like we're going to be going to Signal Iduna Park to see both these teams go head-to-head in an all-German rivalry. Alright guys, we're here at the Signal Iduna Park to see Borussia Dortmund and Bayern take on with each other. And it's got to be a clash and a rivalry to remember because both these sides have been at it against, like they've been at it each other, and it's probably one of the best rivalries in Germany. And if not all rivalries together. But both these teams come into match week 3 with different results. Starting with Borussia Dortmund, they've had 2 underwhelming results. First, drawing to Barcelona was kind of fair result. But then drawing to Deportivo La Coruna away from home was kind of underwhelming. And you shouldn't be doing that. But then, Bayern Munich on the other hand, they've had 2 different results. Of course, one was a loss to Inter Milan, which is fair. But they also got a win against Eintracht Frankfurt in an all-German clash, which is perfect and magnificent from them. So yeah, the Klassiker will be coming up. So who's going to win this clash? Will Dortmund get their first win in this campaign? Or will Bayern Munich show their rivals who's boss? Right now, let's take a look at Borussia Dortmund's starting lineup. After that, as you can see, the players are shaking hands. But yeah, look at Borussia Dortmund's starting lineup. They're going with a 3-4-2-1 formation. Of course, Gregor Kobel in goal. Nico Schlotterbeck, Anton, Bensebaini, Svensson, Gross, and Mecca. Cole Campbell, Adeyemi, Brandt, and Guirassy. So Dortmund has to make 2 substitutions. And of course, Schlotterbeck and Cole Campbell comes in for Sula and Ryerson. But of course, Bayern Munich starting lineup with Manu Neuer in goal. Laimer, Upamecano, Tah, Guerrero, Goretzka, Kimmich, Olise, Musiala, Diaz, and Harry Kane. They still don't have Alphonso Davies, but I'm pretty sure he'll be back in the next game. So the Klassiker is coming right up, and it's live. So Borussia Dortmund, they actually start the game. What can they do here? If they really have to bounce, they have to think quickly and not play defensively here. But they actually lose possession, so this is not going to be very good here for the yellow wall. But right now, the other side, of course, Bayern Munich, they're literally like the big brothers of this rivalry because they've always dominated Dortmund every time they face against each other. But can this prove to be different for Dortmund? Right now, Adeyemi is literally in the open. He shoots, but what a savior from Manu Neuer. Adeyemi is literally built different, man. He's literally built different. I'm not lying. But as you can see, Vincent Kompany's the manager. He's trying to think of some tactics here. And then Svensson, of course, is going to be the one to take the corner here. But of course, Neuer easily takes it. He knows Borussia Dortmund pretty well. Played against them for like almost a decade, or actually more than a decade. Not almost, more than a decade. But right now, Musiala's in the open. Musiala finds Kimmich, who has that very good mentality right now. But can he find the striker? Here's Kimmich. Kimmich to Olise, but somehow Borussia Dortmund get this one away. And now here's Jonathan Tah. Tah to Kimmich. Kimmich to Upamecano. Upamecano to Tah. Tah to Kimmich. Kimmich to Upamecano. Upamecano to Laimer. Laimer to Olise. Bayern Munich are still trying to think of something here. But let's see. Guerrero to Kimmich. Kimmich to Musiala. Musiala to Goretzka. But somehow Goretzka loses the possession. Now here's Guirassy. Girassi to Svensson. Svensson to Enmeka. Girassi is the player to watch here, but Enmeka finds Brandt. Brandt shoots, and he scores the opening goal of this Der Klassiker game. But what a finish here from Julian Brandt. Forget about Sergio Girassi. Right now, the media is focusing on Julian Brandt after that wonderful finish to put the home sides in front. But as you can see, what a pass. And what a finish here from Brandt right there. That was actually a wonderful pass here from Enmeka, if I'm correct. And what a finish from Julian Brandt there. That was completely cool, calm, collected here from the German. Manu Neuer tried to save this one, but it was too much and too late. But looks like Borussia Dortmund get the first blow on Bayern Munich. This could actually prove to be different here. But you know what happened? Bayern can actually come back. But anyway, now Bayern Munich have the possession. Musiala to Harry Kane. Kane to Guerrero. Guerrero to Luis Diaz. Still Diaz. Still Luis Diaz. Diaz to Guerrero. Guerrero to Goretzka. Goretzka to Kimmich. But of course, what an interception here from Borussia Dortmund there. But Bayern still have the possession. It's Tar coming all the way. Finds Kimmich with a wonderful cross from Tar. Kimmich to Olise. Olise to Lima. The Austrian finds Goretzka. Now Bayern are thinking of trying to kill the time because they know that they have this mentality. They are Bayern Munich, for crying out loud. So they know what to do. But we're already done with the first quarter of this game, and they've already made so much misplaced passes. It's going to cost them very badly. Brandt is still in the open. He could actually go for a second goal. But what a save from Manu Neuer here. It has been a disaster class here from this from the Bayern defense, I would say. But Neuer is literally the player who's trying to keep him in. But Dortmund actually have a corner, and I'm pretty sure Cole Campbell is actually going to be the one to take it. A player who's actually going to make... Oh, sorry, Svensson, sorry. Svensson is actually going to be the one to take the corner. Apologies there, because of course Svensson is the best corner kick taker. But who knows, Cole Campbell is literally one of the best teenagers here for Dortmund, apart from Jude Bellingham here. And Erling Haaland. But right now Bayern Munich are on the attack. Harry Kane to Musiala. Still Musiala. Musiala feeds the ball to Kane. Kane to Lima. Lima makes a wonderful cross. Bayern with an opportunity here, but Kobel makes a save. Nice Felix Enmeka. Enmeka to Julian Brandt. Still Brandt. Brandt is completely through. He could get a second goal, and he does. Borussia Dortmund are completely on fire right now. They've been all cylinders here, opening all cylinders, and are now 2 goals up against their rivals. What a finish here from Brandt. Just too good, man. But yeah, looks like Borussia Dortmund are 2 goals up. Can Bayern think of something here? Can they think of a comeback or not? Here's Goretzka. Goretzka to Diaz. Luis Diaz to Guerrero. Still Guerrero. Still Rafa Guerrero. Guerrero makes a wonderful cross here. It's with Musiala. What a block and interception here. Brandt to Girassi and Enmeka. Still Enmeka. Enmeka to Cole Campbell with his first touch. Now it's Brandt with it. Still Brandt. Brandt to Campbell. Campbell to Gross. Gross to Enmeka. What a tackle here, and Bayern are on the attack. Is Harry Kane with it. Kane to Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz to Michael Olise with a wonderful cross from the Colombian. Finds the French wizard, Michael Olise. Olise to Kimmich. Kimmich to Musiala. Musiala to Lima. Lima to Goretzka. Goretzka tries to turn the defender there. Finds Musiala. Still Musiala. Musiala there. Guerrero with it. Still Guerrero. Guerrero to Musiala. Musiala to Goretzka. But what a defense here from Borussia Dortmund there. Dortmund are completely holding on here. Sorry that my words are slightly fluffing up and jumbling up, because this is literally Borussia Dortmund's best performance so far. But you know what happened? They can't get a bit cozy. Don't get a bit cocky there, because they know that they can fumble this opportunity. And Bayern Munich somehow get the... they defuse the interception. well, not diffused, but they ruined the play from Dortmund for Dortmund. But now Bayern Munich are trying to think of scoring the opening goal for them. But it's just that they just keep on playing tiki-taka. But now, right now, Luis Diaz is on the open. Still Diaz. Diaz finds Musiala. Musiala to Luis Diaz. Tries to go for a cutback pass. But Dortmund gets this one underway. And they manage to hold on the first half. But as you can see, half-time, Borussia Dortmund get a 2-goal lead over Bayern Munich. And Harry Kane has had a disaster class. Just 8 touches for him. But Brandt has been completely... He's been all over the moon. Scored a brace currently over Bayern. It's halftime. Dortmund 2, Bayern 0. Alright guys, looks like the second half has already started. And Bayern Munich, they're trying to think of coming back here. They're now down by 2 goals. But anything can happen here. Dortmund have basically been completely all over Bayern Munich so far. But anything can happen. Can Bayern Munich think of actually scoring maybe 2 more goals, or potentially maybe stealing Dortmund at the fag end? We just don't know. But Bayern Munich are just literally wasting their time with too many passive plays here. Here's Luis Diaz. Diaz tries to pass, but there's no one in front. Alright. What a tackle here from Brandt. And somehow Bayern, with a crazy tackle, gets it to Borussia Dortmund's half. Is Schlotterbeck to Pascal Gross to Bansabaini, the Algerian. He crosses it to the American Campbell. But yeah, Borussia Dortmund's next game is against Monaco. But however, it's an offside play for Dortmund. So it's going to be a free kick here for Bayern Munich. Guerrero is going to be the one to take it. Finds Diaz. Diaz to Goretzka. Goretzka to Jonathan Tah. Tah to Goretzka. Goretzka to Tah. Kimmich. Kimmich to Upamecano. Upamecano to Kimmich. Then Goretzka here. Bayern Munich really need to bounce back here, because they've been in this similar situation against Inter. But just as I said, Bayern Munich has somehow scored what could be a potential comeback goal. He pulls one back here for Bayern Munich. Jamal Musiala, of course, does a cold celebration here. But most importantly, he pulls one back here for Bayern Munich. It was a wonderful pass here. And wonderful finish here by Jamal Musiala right there. That's his second goal in this Brisbane05Blaster Champions League, by the way. Of course, didn't play in the first game. But, of course, showed some excellent performance in the previous game against Frankfurt. But can he actually spark hope for Bayern Munich? This is really intense right now. But Bayern Munich, they've managed to come back. But they need to score another goal to maybe get an equalizing goal. But this is literally in their heritage, I would say. This is literally in their blood. Scoring goals at the last minute. Probably trying to come back here. So anything can happen in this clash. Just don't count them off yet. Unless if they keep on playing passively here, then we can. But right now, Musiala has it. Still Musiala. Musiala to Goretzka. Goretzka to Jonathan Tah. We already had a first banger game, which is, of course, Monaco and Frankfurt. And Frankfurt, thanks to Oscar Højlund, the brother of Rasmus Højlund. Of course, I just found out through Google, he's actually the brother of Rasmus Højlund. He actually scored the dagger over Monaco, and because of this, Eintracht Frankfurt got 2 wins to start off this campaign, despite actually having a stutter over Bayern Munich. But they're literally cooking here. Right now, Bayern Munich's next clash is against Man United, who have been completely dog shit. Lost 2 games against both Spanish oppositions, Real Madrid and Barcelona. But yeah, mind my language there, but yeah, this is actually pretty intense. But Man United, they really have to bounce back, especially against Norwich City here, because it should be an easy game for them on paper, because United, come on, they have too many talented players. But right now, let's focus on Bayern Munich. They're still in their own zone since that first goal. They're not even going deeper. And with that, Borussia Dortmund get the possession. Julian Brandt has it. He's, by the way, on the verge of scoring a hat-trick. It's Brandt completely through, and that could have been a chance for him to score a hat-trick. Not close. Well, it was not far, but still not close. But looks like it's going to be substitution here for Borussia Dortmund. Felix Senmeka comes off for Joe Bellingham. And he has been an impact player here for Dortmund. Scored the equalizing goal against Barcelona. Can he actually do it and maybe end the game? And end hopes for Bayern comeback. However, it's still with Bayern. They still need to think of somehow getting a comeback here. Here's Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz makes a wonderful pass to Jamal Musiala. He shoots, but he hits the post. Unlucky here from Musiala there, because that could have been a potential equalizing goal. It has been somewhat of a cliffhanger here. Nothing to be separated, even though Dortmund has a slim lead over Bayern Munich. But like I said, however, Dortmund are still on the attack. Girassi had the opportunity to shoot, but of course Bayern managed to get this one through. It's going to be a substitution here for both these sides. Guerrero comes off for Pavlovic, and Gross comes off for Marcel Sabitzer, another Austrian who played for Bayern Munich, by the way. He actually played for top three clubs: Leipzig, Bayern, and Dortmund, of course. And Borussia Dortmund completely wasted their opportunity. And Dortmund are going for another substitution, and they're actually thinking of subbing off Julian Brandt. And why wouldn't he be? Because he's kind of fatigued after that type of performance. Scored a brace, and he thinks that this game is over because he's actually subbed off for Gio Reyna. Another American here. He's actually going to be partnering Cole Campbell, which is a young American player, I would say. Can he actually score his debut goal? This could actually be something of a sensational thing to do, like to watch, I would say. But right now, Bayern Munich are on the attack. Luis Diaz has it. Luis Diaz tries to find Kane, but somehow Schlotterbeck with a wonderful interception. And now Gio Reyna has it. He finds his American buddy, Cole Campbell. What can Campbell do? He finds Girassi. Still Girassi. Girassi on the open. He shoots and he scores, which gives Borussia Dortmund an almighty win over the top powerhouses of Germany, Bayern Munich. He's now literally the top scorer of Borussia Dortmund there, because he scored in all three matches. Scored against Barcelona, scored against Deportivo La Coruna, which was the equalizing goal, by the way, and now scored the goal which could give Borussia Dortmund all 3 points. Bayern Munich are somewhat inconsistent despite having too many quality players. But what a stunning display from Sergio Girassi. Scores the most important goal here for Borussia Dortmund. But can Bayern Munich, with just 5 minutes to play, can they think of something? Score 2 goals. Right now is Gnabry with it. Gnabry to Pavlovic. Pavlovic to Kane. Kane to Gnabry. Still Gnabry. Gnabry to Olise. Olise to Kimmich. Kimmich to Olise. It's 4 minutes of added time. I don't think Bayern's going to win this or draw the game. And why would they be? Because they've been awful in this game. Despite that equalizing goal from Musiala, Bayern Munich haven't think of actually putting pressure on Dortmund. And despite Kane almost trying to pull one goal back for Bayern Munich, apologies there, it wasn't enough as Gregor Kobel made an instant save. What a reaction here from the Swiss. But it's going to be a corner kick here for Bayern Munich. Can they score the insurance goal? Oh, sorry, consolations goal. But Swiss keeper Gregor Kobel makes an easy save. And full-time whistle is blown with Borussia Dortmund opening their account with their first win of the campaign of Brisbane05Blaster Champions League. Thanks to a brace from Julian Brandt. Despite Musiala bringing 1 goal back. Wasn't an equalizing goal, by the way. Pardon that. Sergio Girassi finished it off in style. And because of this, Dortmund, despite their terrible 2-game performance, drawing to Barcelona and Deportivo La Coruna, managed to bounce back by winning against their old rivals Bayern Munich in the Klassiker, winning the match 3-1. What a way to end the clash. There were chances at both ends, but Borussia Dortmund will be the one to take the 3 points as they hold on, got the job done, beating Bayern Munich 3-1. And they had Julian Brandt to thank for, because he had a masterclass performance scoring 2 goals. And yes, Musiala did bring one goal back, but then Girassi finished it off, scoring the winner here for Dortmund, who's actually the top scorer for Dortmund, by the way, scoring 3 goals in 3 matches, performing consistently. He was basically there to carry Borussia Dortmund when they needed him the most. And that's the reason why Dortmund got the 3 points. They should have got the 3 points at that Deportivo La Coruna, but I'm pretty sure the Dortmund fans will be happy about this because at least they stay unbeaten. They didn't lose the game. They didn't, of course, lose to Barcelona. They were this close to lose to Barcelona and also this close to lose to Deportivo La Coruna, but they still remain unbeaten. Whereas Bayern Munich, on the other hand, they have 2 losses to start the campaign despite having a win over Eintracht Frankfurt. But Bayern Munich will be going to the drawing board to see what's wrong and assess the problems here. But anyway, now we move on to our final clash as it's Juventus taking on Real Madrid in Turin. So Juventus versus Real Madrid is a must-watch for you guys because go back to the 90s where Juventus had the likes of Del Piero, Zidane, Antonio Conte and many players. Where of course Real Madrid had the likes of Roberto Carlos, Fernando Hierro and Raul. Both these teams played in what was the best UCL finals at that time, where of course Real Madrid got the job done. And they also played in the 2017 Champions League final where of course they had the likes of Ronaldo. Juventus had the likes of Mandzukic, Buffon and Cuadrado. They had basically players at their prime. But now they meet in this match week where it's played in Turin. Juventus, they had a decent start like I said. They got a shocking loss to AS Monaco, of course thanks to Pogba. And then of course they bounced back beating FC Nantes thanks to a solo goal from Dusan Vlahovic. So Juventus had a decent performance and a decent start to the campaign. Where of course Real Madrid, like Real Madrid stuff, they of course got 2 wins to start the campaign, beating Man United and of course beating AC Milan thanks to Mbappe and Vini masterclass. So I'm pretty sure Real Madrid will easily get the title unless if Juventus can maybe get a win here or potentially draw the game. But anyway, Real Madrid will be going unchanged, but Juventus on the other hand, they'll be changing the tactics and the players. So they're actually going with a 4-2-3-1 formation and one player is actually going to be coming on. So Gatti is coming off for of course Weston McKennie because Pierre Kalulu is actually going to be shifted to centre back and Weston McKennie, because Gatti has been moved to centre midfield, Weston McKennie is actually going to be filling that spot. And I have a feeling with that tweak, with that formation tweak, I have a feeling that Juventus can maybe pull off something from their hat and sleeves. Maybe get a win over Real Madrid in front of their home fans. We just don't know because Real Madrid, even, of course they do well at home, but they can also destroy teams away from home. So anything can happen here. But anyway guys, hope you enjoy this video and let's move on to our final clash, going to Turin to see Juventus and Real Madrid battle out for glory. Alright guys, we're here at the Allianz Stadium in Turin to see Juventus and Real Madrid take on against each other. And boy, it's going to be a very good game because Juventus and Real Madrid, go back to the 90s and see how the team looked like. Juventus had the likes of Del Piero, they had the likes of Zizou, Zinedine Zidane by the way, who actually did went to join Real Madrid. They had the likes of course, Conte and Chiellini, Bonucci. Real Madrid had the likes of course, and don't forget Buffon from Juventus side. But Real Madrid, they had the likes of R9, Roberto Carlos. Then they also had Luis Figo, the best midfielder here for Real Madrid. Barcelona fans will not be happy about this, but the game is the game here. So anyway, looks like both these sides are shaking hands, wishing them good luck because this game is going to be a feisty one. Who's going to win this one? Can Juventus prove to them that they are the big team in Europe, or will Real Madrid just prove them wrong and just dust other European teams like they did in the last 2 games? Alright, now let's take a look at Juventus starting lineup. So they're going with a 4-2-3-1 formation with of course Mikel Di Gregorio in goal, Joao Mario, Kalulu, Bremer, Cambiaso, Locatelli, McKennie, Conceição, Kefren Turam, Kenan Yildiz and Jonathan David, with of course Igor Tudor as the manager for Juventus. And now let's take a look at Real Madrid starting lineup. They're going with a 4-2-3-1. Courtois, of course, the man in goal. Carreras, Rudiger, Militao, Trent, Tchouameni, Valverde as the captain. Vini, Jude Bellingham, Rodrigo, and of course their main man, striker, Kylian Mbappe. And of course Xabi Alonso is the manager here. So Juventus and Real Madrid is coming right up, and it's live. So Juventus, of course, they kick off first. So Juventus in their last match, they managed to grind against FC Nantes thanks to a substitute striker Dusan Vlahovic scoring the only goal. Whereas Real Madrid, as usual, they always do Real Madrid things. They dusted AC Milan, who are actually their closest rivals in the UCL. In terms of UCL, by the way, Real Madrid and Milan were actually the best two European teams at that time. So thanks to Mbappe masterclass. And of course, Vinicius Junior and Aurelien Tchouameni, who have actually provided assists for Mbappe. But can Real Madrid keep on marching on? Or will Juventus prove that they're still Europe's best team like they did back in the 2010s? So they also played in the Champions League final, not in the 90s, but they also played in the 2017, back in Cardiff, where of course Ronaldo had a masterclass performance, despite Mandzukic scoring the only goal for Juventus. Of course, Marco Asensio, Casemiro, they prove Juventus whom they're up against. But right now, here's Vinicius, he finds Bellingham, Bellingham to Valverde, Valverde to Mbappe, still Mbappe, Mbappe to Tchouameni, back to Mbappe. What a tackle here from, if I'm pretty sure it's either Breme or Kalulu. But either way, what a good tackle. But anyway, Joao Mario has it. He finds Weston McKennie, the American. Finds Jonathan David, the Canadian. Finds Locatelli, the skipper. And of course, Kylian Mbappe, the player to watch. Scored 4 goals in the last 2 games. A brace against Manchester United and a brace against AC Milan. But can he do it again? Can he score yet another brace? Gotta see though. Rodrigo has the ball. Is he gonna feed the ball to Mbappe? Or will he actually go for himself? He actually finds Mbappe. Then he finds Tchouameni. Tchouameni to Valverde, the captain. Captain finds Vinicius Junior and Vini scores. What a goal from the Brazilian as he gives Real Madrid the lead. Gotta take a look at the replay. What a pass from Tchouameni and what a skillful pass from the captain Valverde and what a finish from the Brazilian winger Vinicius Junior. Like seriously, Mikel De Gregorio tried to go for a save, but if you're up against Vini, come on. You can't save that. But anyway, Real Madrid have the early lead over Juventus. They always lead. Well, apart from the Manchester United game where they actually trailed, thanks to a goal from Cunha, but then, of course, Vini equalized it. But anyway, we move. But Juventus are on the attack. Here's Jonathan David. He finds Conceição. But unfortunately for Conceição, he's offside. And this could be a terrible luck here for Juventus because they had the chance to equalize. He's actually way offside, by the way. That's unfortunate. But anyway, now Real Madrid have the possession. Here's Carreras. Carreras to Valverde. Valverde to Tchouameni. Tchouameni to Mbappe. Mbappe to Vini. Vini to Valverde. Valverde to Rudiger. Rudiger to Carreras. Back to Tchouameni here. Tchouameni to Bellingham. Real Madrid are actually thinking of killing the clock. They think that it's all over because, come on, if it is Real Madrid, they know how to kill time. But when you're up against Juventus, they have that mentality to actually go forward and do not give up. Even though they actually lost to Monaco in the opening game, they still have the guts. But anyway, here's Kenan Yildiz. Finds Jonathan David. David whips in across to Kenan Yildiz, who's actually made an overlapping run. Finds David. David back to Yildiz, who does a skillful run. Yildiz finds Thuram, back to Yildiz, then to Conceição, but what a tackle here. And Real Madrid and Juventus, dangerous attack. And here's Bellingham. Bellingham to Valverde. Valverde to Carreras. Real Madrid are trying to work well on the possession here. They do not want to give the ball away because this could turn into a dangerous counter-attack for Juventus. Now here's Rodrigo. Still Rodrigo. Rodrigo makes a wonderful cross here, but what an anticipation from one of the midfielders or the defenders here. But now here's Rodrigo. Makes another cross. And it's an easy save for Mikel De Gregorio. Probably the next Wojciech Szczesny here for Juventus, who's actually now at Barcelona, if you know. Right now, Joao Mario finds McKennie. Back to Joao Mario. Finds Thuram, Kefren Thuram, the brother of Marcus Thuram. Finds Conceição. Conceição to McKennie, then to Thuram. He finds Conceição with an overlapping run. Still Conceição, and I think somehow Conceição manages to get the ball back in. It is going to be a corner kick for Juventus, something that they really need here. And who's going to be the free kick or set piece taker? And I'm pretty sure that's actually Conceição, the Portuguese wizard. He whips it across, but Courtois makes a simple save. And he actually goes for a very good throw rather than a lofty kick. Rodrigo with it. What a tackle though. But anyway, Yildiz, he finds Thuram, then to McKennie. McKennie to Conceição. Conceição to Jonathan David. Jonathan David shoots and he scores the equalizing goal. Out of nowhere, Juventus manages to score the equalizing goal courtesy of Jonathan David. What a pass from McKennie, then to Conceição, and then what a finish from Jonathan David, the Canadian, as he gives Juventus some lifeline here, despite that early error here from them, thanks to, of course, Vinicius scoring the opening goal. Jonathan David manages to cancel Real Madrid's lead, thanks to a wonderful pass from Conceição and a wonderful finish from the young Canadian. And we're back in an all stalemate situation here. This is by far going to be the best game, apart from the Der Klassiker or the Frankfurt-Monaco game. But anything can happen here. Here's McKennie. McKennie to Locatelli. Locatelli makes a wonderful cross to Yildiz. 1 minute of added time here for the stoppage time here. Locatelli to Cambiaso. They're not going to go further. But it's half-time with Juventus managing to score the equalizing goal before half-time over Real Madrid. And who else but Jonathan David to score the equalizing goal, despite Vinicius scoring the goal beforehand. What a performance here for Juventus. Half-time, it's Juventus 1, Real Madrid 1. Alright guys, we're here for the second half and Real Madrid are going to be the ones to kick off. They had the lead thanks to Vinicius Jr., but Jonathan David cancelled their lead. So it's going to be a dicey situation here for both these sides. Can one of these teams break the deadlock? Here's Carreras. Carreras to Rudiger. Rudiger to Valverde. Valverde to Bellingham. Bellingham to his English teammate Trent. Trent to Militao. Militao to Rudiger. Then to Militao. Militao to Tchouaméni. Tchouaméni to Rodrigo. But what an interception here from the left back. If I remember, that's Cambiaso. Now here's Khéphren Thuram. He finds Yildiz. Yildiz to Thuram. But somehow Real Madrid get the block on Juventus and they manage to get the ball away. And Juventus' next match is going to be up against Norwich City, which is going to be an easy one for Juventus. So, can they actually do it? Right now, they have to worry about this Real Madrid counter-attack situation. Here's Valverde. Valverde to Bellingham, but what a tackle here from Breme or either one of the defenders. But I'm pretty sure that's Breme. Breme made a wonderful tackle on Bellingham. And now Juventus have the possession. They lose it somehow. Here's Carreras. Carreras to Tchouaméni. Then to Valverde. Valverde to Bellingham. Bellingham to Trent. Trent to Tchouaméni. Tchouaméni to Trent. A bit of a passive play here for Real Madrid. Here's Valverde. Valverde tries to pass it, but what an interception here from João Mario. Mario to Thuram. Thuram to Conceição. Carreras tried to tackle him, but Conceição still has it. Now here's Thuram, back to Conceição, then back to Thuram. Thuram to McKennie, back to Conceição. Then to Thuram, Khéphren Thuram to McKennie. Weston McKennie with it, he finds Jonathan David, but he shouldn't have passed it back because that has lost the attack for Juventus. And Madrid's next game is against Parma, which is also going to be an easy fixture for your Real Madrid, given the fact that they already had 3 difficult fixtures: Manchester United, AC Milan, and of course now Juventus. But out of this, Juventus is actually giving Real Madrid a run for their money because despite Manchester United leading, Real Madrid completely blew them off in the second half. And then, of course, AC Milan didn't actually come back. But speaking of Real Madrid, they have a corner situation. A corner kick here, which could prove decisive here. Goes for a corner. But Juventus get the ball away. And it's McKennie. Weston McKennie with a wonderful blistering run here. Finds Conceição. Back to McKennie. McKennie to Jonathan David. David to Thuram. Thuram to Locatelli. The skipper finds Thuram. Back to the skipper. Skipper finds Cambiaso, but Yildiz gets it though. Finds Cambiaso. Cambiaso to David, but what an interception here from Real Madrid. We've already finished 3 quarters of this match. The remaining quarter to go. Can one of this team break the deadlock? However, Bellingham has it. He tries to go for a chopping cut, but he finds Tchouaméni. Still Tchouaméni finds Valverde. Valverde crosses it to Rodrigo. Still Rodrigo. Still Rodrigo. Rodrigo crosses it. Mbappe actually tried to go for a header, but it was way off target. Or actually, it's a corner kick. But anyway, substitution here for Juventus. Nico Gonzalez comes on for Conceição. But yeah, corner kick here for Real Madrid. They go for it, but Juventus manages to get this one away, and they do it successfully. Here's McKennie. McKennie to Gonzalez. Still Gonzalez. The Argentinian finds João Mario with a wonderful cross here to Nico Gonzalez. Still Gonzalez. Still Gonzalez. Gonzalez to David. Jonathan David here. Back to Gonzalez. Gonzalez to Yildiz. Yildiz to David. David to Gonzalez. Back to David. Then to Gonzalez again. Tries to hold the ball there from Real Madrid. Finds McKennie. McKennie to Locatelli. Locatelli to Yildiz. Back to Locatelli. Locatelli to Cambiaso. Back to Locatelli. Then to Thuram. Then to McKennie. McKennie to João Mario. Juventus are trying to get this one in, but the Real Madrid defense are trying to put pressure on them. They're trying to suffocate them. And they actually work it to perfection because now they have the possession of the ball. Here's Vinicius. Vinicius to Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe finds Tchouaméni. Tchouaméni to Bellingham. Back to Tchouaméni. Still Tchouaméni. Tchouaméni tries to find Bellingham, but what an interception here. And now here's Juventus with it. It's Kenan Yildiz. Yildiz to Cambiaso. Cambiaso with a wonderful through ball to Yildiz. Kenan Yildiz is through. Yildiz finds David, but what an interception here from the number 3. That was a kill-edged opportunity for Juventus to get something here. But I don't think that there will be a winner here, because Real Madrid and Juventus, they're playing tactically. But this could actually work in favors of Juventus here, because Real Madrid are probably one of the best teams. Now here's Tchouaméni. Tchouaméni to Alexander-Arnold. Trent to Valverde. And it's going to be full time with Juventus, Real Madrid sharing the spoils. Nothing to be separated here. And the fans are okay with this result because despite actually not winning this game, they actually draw against Real Madrid. So that means PSG and Inter, they actually now are the only 2 teams who are actually with 3 wins. So this is a bad situation, a huge blow for Real Madrid as they couldn't get a win over Juventus. Full time, it's Juventus 1, Real Madrid 1. Juventus and Real Madrid had to share the spoils because the game ended in a 1-1 draw. Juventus would be very happy with this performance. Yeah, sure, they nearly scored the winner and should be getting the 3 points, but they would be happy because they drew to Real Madrid, the 15-time champions, to a stalemate, to a 1-1 draw. But of course, Real Madrid, on the other hand, they are not happy with this performance because despite Vinicius scoring the goal, the opening goal of this match, they did dominate the larger portions of the game. But then Jonathan David scored the equalizing goal, and that Vinicius goal was cancelled. That lead was cancelled. So Real Madrid had to share the spoils with Juventus, which is something that they could not need because they really want to put this momentum. They've been dominating recently, getting big wins against European teams. But I guess it is what it is. If you can't take your chances, you have to settle for a draw. Anyway, let's take a look at all the other goals in recent matches and see how things pan out. Aston Villa demolished AJ Auger 5-0 at Villa Park in a thrilling display of attacking football. The scoring opened from a set-piece move. Andres Garcia passed to Uri Tielemans, who delivered a long-driven ball to Morgan Rogers. Rodgers initially struggled to line up his shot but quickly regained control and calmly slotted the ball into the back of the net, giving the home fans an early lead. Villa doubled their advantage through a dangerous attacking sequence. John McGinn picked out Tielemans, who linked up with Garcia. Making an overlapping run into the box, Tielemans received a precise pass from Ollie Watkins and struck the ball into the net, putting Villa firmly in control. The third goal came swiftly. Rodgers combined with Tielemans, who then played a perfect pass to captain John McGinn. The Scotsman danced past the defender and finished brilliantly from inside the box, marking his place on the scoresheet. McGinn wasn't finished. Jacob Ramsey delivered a pinpoint cross into the box and McGinn produced a stunning volley to make it 4-0, giving him a well-deserved brace. The Villa Park crowd erupted, with the captain now just one goal away from completing a massive hat-trick. Aston Villa netted their fifth goal of the game as John McGinn latched onto a precise pass from Ollie Watkins before curling a superb strike into the back of the net. The skipper capped off a dominant performance by completing a hat-trick, with the entire side working seamlessly together and showcasing outstanding teamwork throughout the match. Full-time whistle at Villa Park sees Aston Villa strike back with a commanding final victory over AJ O'Shea. Captain John McGinn stole the show, netting a sensational hat-trick to underline his leadership and quality on the pitch. Aston Villa remain in the top half of the table, buoyed by their perfect start to the campaign. Meanwhile, O'Shea are still searching for their first point, having been dismantled left, right and centre at Villa Park. FC Barcelona produced a dominant performance at Ewood Park, dismantling Blackburn Rovers 5-1. However, it did not start well at first as the home side stunned the visitors early when Pau Kubasi brought down Cantwell inside the box, prompting the referee to award a penalty. Mokhtar Gueye stepped up with confidence and fired his effort into the top right corner, giving Blackburn a surprising lead and sending the home crowd into a frenzy. Barcelona, however, responded swiftly. Rafinha sliced open the Rovers' defence with a precise through ball to Marcus Rashford, who continued his red-hot form by smashing his finish into the top right corner to level the score. From that moment, the momentum shifted entirely. And I was right. Before halftime, Barcelona completed their turnaround with a beautifully constructed move. Rafinha found Pedri, who patiently waited for Alejandro Balde's overlapping run. Balde squared the ball to Dani Olmo, who danced past Hayden Carter and finished with style to put Barca ahead. The visitors returned from the break with even more intensity. Rafinha muscled past his marker before linking up with Pedri, who combined brilliantly with Rashford in a slick passing sequence. Pedri capped off the move with a composed finish, marking his first goal of the season in sensational fashion. Barcelona's fourth came courtesy of another moment of brilliance. Dani Olmo threaded a perfect pass through the lines, finding, you guessed it, Marcus Rashford once again. The Mancunian forward made no mistake, slotting home his second of the match and continuing his remarkable scoring streak, 7 goals in just 2 matches. The final blow arrived late on when Olmo picked out Robert Lewandowski, who turned his defender expertly before laying the ball off to Rafinha. The captain drilled his shot into the net, sealing a commanding victory and putting the match well beyond Blackburn's reach. After 90 minutes, Barcelona emerged with a commanding 5-1 victory, displaying a blend of attacking flair and ruthless efficiency in front of goal. Their dominance was anchored by a sensational performance from Marcus Rashford and a cohesive effort across every area of the pitch. The win further solidified the Catalan Giants' position in the top 4, reinforcing their strong start to the campaign. Blackburn, meanwhile, were left stunned in their own stadium, unable to withstand Barcelona's relentless intensity and superior quality as the match progressed. Inter Milan continued their perfect start to the campaign, securing their third consecutive victory with a hard-fought 2-1 win over Deportivo La Coruna at the San Siro. Marcus Thuram broke through the lines before cutting the ball back to Denzel Dumfries, The Dutchman quickly shifted play to Federico Di Marco, who received a neat pass from Nicolo Barella and drilled his shot into the back of the net, giving Inter a deserved lead. The hosts doubled their advantage through another moment of brilliance down the right flank. Dumfries, who has been in exceptional form, delivered a pinpoint cross into the box where Lautaro Martinez rose above his marker and powered a header past the keeper, extending Inter's lead and igniting the home crowd. Despite Inter's control, Deportivo La Coruña refused to fold. Mario Soriano found a pocket of space in midfield and threaded a clever through ball to Zakaria Edachuri, who curled a superb effort beyond Jan Sommer, pulling one back for the visitors and injecting belief into the travelling supporters. However, Inter's defensive resilience ensured the visitors could not complete the comeback, as the referee's whistle confirmed a narrow but deserved 2-1 victory for the Italian Giants. Inter's standout performers DiMarco, Barella, Martinez and Dumfries delivered a complete display across the pitch, guiding the team to another crucial win. With 3 victories from 3 matches, Inter remained firmly in the title race as they prepare to go head-to-head with PSG at the top of the table. Man United's struggles continued at Old Trafford as they fell 1-0 to Norwich City. That moment arrived in the 75th minute where Marcelino Nunez delivered a superb cross into the box and Josh Sargent rose above the United defence to power a header past the keeper, as the young American's finish was clinical, giving Norwich a precious lead and sending the travelling supporters into raptures. As the final whistle blew, the Canaries celebrated their first 3 points of the campaign, earned through resilience, organisation and the decisive contribution of Sargent, whose match-winning header earned him a standing ovation from the away end. For Man United, the defeat only added to their mounting concerns. With Bayern Munich looming on the next match day, pressure continues to build, and the season threatens to drift into familiar banter-era territory unless a turnaround arrives soon. PSG edged out a narrow victory over Werder Bremen in a tightly contested match at the Parc des Princes. Chances were scarce throughout the evening, with both sides cancelling each other out in midfield and defensive lines holding firm. But PSG finally unlocked the Bremen defence with a moment of pure quality. A slick tiki-taka sequence involving João Neves, Dembele and Vitinha carved open the visitors' shape. Their quick exchanges culminated in a perfectly weighted pass to Fabian Ruiz, who struck a composed, low-driven shot beyond the goalkeeper to give the Parisians the lead. When the final whistle sounded, PSG managed the game with maturity, controlling possession and denying Bremen any real opportunity to respond. PSG claimed a hard-earned 1-0 win secured by Fabian Ruiz's decisive finish and the team's only true moment of attacking brilliance. The victory keeps the European champions at the top of the table after match week 3, while Werder Bremen leave Paris with pride in their effort but no points to show for it. AC Milan earned a convincing 2-0 victory over FC Nantes at the San Siro. Rossoneri opened the scoring through a well-constructed move as Rafa Leão surged into the box before sliding the ball to Noah Okafor. The Swiss forward executed a smart cutback to Santiago Jimenez, who tapped in one of the easiest goals of his career to give Milan an early lead. The hosts doubled their advantage with another fluid attacking sequence. Jimenez turned provider this time, threading a precise pass into the path of Okafor. Making a perfectly timed run, Okafor blasted his finish into the net, continuing his impressive rise in form. After 90 minutes, AC Milan comfortably saw the match, securing a comprehensive win in front of their home fans, with Okafor and Jimenez performing at their highest levels, especially Noah Okafor, who has scored 3 goals in 3 games, performing consistently as he's quickly emerging as a genuine threat in the Golden Boot race. Rossoneri can begin to dream about mounting a serious title challenge as the season progresses. For FC Nantes, the result was another bitter blow. Now 0-3 to start their campaign, the visitors left the pitch visibly dejected. If their slump continues, their season could become a nightmare. The clash between Parma and Valencia proved to be a frustrating affair for both sides, with the first half offering little excitement as neither team managed to convert their limited chances. That spark finally arrived late in the second half, where Dani Rabah produced a moment of quality, threading a superb pass into Valencia's cult hero Hugo Duro. The striker finished to perfection, squeezing the ball past Zion Suzuki, who came agonizingly close to keeping it out. The goal broke the deadlock and sent the travelling supporters into celebration. Valencia held firm through a late push from Parma, surviving a brief scare before the final whistle confirmed a hard-earned 1-0 victory for the Bats. Hugo Duro's decisive strike once again proved why he's adored by the fans, securing a crucial win for the Spanish Dark Horses. With momentum now on their side, Valencia will look to build on this result in their next outing, hoping to turn this narrow victory into a start of a meaningful surge up the table. At the top of the table, PSG and Inter Milan remain unbeaten after 3 games, each with 9 points, with PSG holding the edge thanks to a superior goal difference. Barcelona and Aston Villa have surged into 3rd and 4th place following impressive wins, while Real Madrid slips to 5th after a shocking draw against Juventus. AC Milan and Borussia Dortmund have broken into the top of the table after their respective victories, adding fresh competition to the upper standings. At the bottom, Manchester United remains in last place, with AJ Auger closing in. Norwich City's slim away win has lifted them out of the bottom 3 into 16th place, giving them a chance to build momentum and escape the bottom 3 zone. Valencia looks to continue their winning streak after a hard-fought win over Parma, as they edge closer to the top half, while the mid-table battle heats up. Early season drama is high, with unbeaten teams at the top, surprising shifts in the middle, and a tense fight at the bottom already taking shape. There you have it, guys. We end match week 3 in style, with of course Eintracht Frankfurt scoring the winner in the 90th minute over AS Monaco, and then Borussia Dortmund getting their first 3 points of the campaign, and Juventus and Real Madrid getting a 1-1 draw. Nothing to be separated, nothing to be decided, no winner to be scored in that game. They had to settle for a 1-1 draw. So it had everything. It had the goals, it had drama, it had some best moments for these 3 matches. But anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this one. Please make sure to like and subscribe to my channel, as this could motivate me to make more future FIFA videos for you guys to enjoy. Anyway, guys, please make sure to like and subscribe. This is Brisbane05Blaster here, signing off.